Hi, hello, fancy seeing you guys. So, happy Thursday, happy Mixed Materials Day. And I'm here, I'm going to try and find Joshua Kosker. So he should be somewhere ready to join me. Where are you, Joshua? Where are you? Let me just check your handle, Josh. Ah, Joshua, there you are. So I hope you're all having a very lovely day. I know Spam had hold of you earlier. So today is the mixed media materials, as you know. And, oh, you're here, Joshua. You should be able to just accept my invite that I've sent you. Let me try and invite you again. Joshua Kosker. Send request. I've just sent you a request, Joshua. So hopefully you can join me. I'm down in Cornwall. I think you're in America. So the very wonderful Faye Hall curated this lovely selection of artists. So, Joshua, I think you're having a bit of a problem getting in. We might have to stop the video like we did yesterday and start again. Let's have a look. Yeah. We had this problem yesterday with one of my artists. I was sending her invites, but she was unable to join. So it might be that we have to start all over again and take two. Yeah, I'm going to close this down and then I'm going to start again and send you an invite. Oh, you've done it. You might pop up. Hello. Oh, these internet gremlins, they're so lovely. We love you, internet gremlins. You're so lovely. Right, try inviting you again. Right, third time lucky. Let's have a go. Mr. Kosker. Right. Ah! Hey! Hello!
So I got the invite and it went to, I had to enable my camera and my microphone.
Oh, it's great. The internet is a wonderful, wonderful thing.
It is. Don't mind my voice. I've lost it. It's a combination of talking a lot during class and my lectures, and I came down with a bit of a bug. But
oh no,
I'm a little raspy. It's getting better today, though.
Yeah, it's made you sound very American for some reason.
I don't know. Yeah, normally I have this accent.
I know. That's very strange. So how are you? What time is it over there, apart from having a sore throat? How are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing great. It's 9:31 to be precise.
Wow.
And morning, and yeah, the weather's finally breaking here a bit, so it's starting to feel like fall here. I think it's going to be something around 60 degrees today. It's been really hot, so yeah, weather's nice. Works good.
Cool.
This is awesome.
Excellent. Well, I'm so pleased that you can join us.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah. So you applied and got into our mixed media materials section. So do you want to tell everybody a bit about your work? Because some people would have seen your work. Some people may not have seen your work. So
yeah, I mean, there's two very different bodies of work represented in the collective for me. You know, overall, my creative practice is just this means for contributing to a deeper, more unusual understanding of the material landscape and the objects that surround us. But so there's this one body of work with soap that's titled tentatively Re-Embody. It's been tentatively titled for about 5 or 6 years.
yeah.
The piece is called Waiver. So that work is utilizing used bars of soap that have been used by either myself or people I've come across in my travels, close friends. Yeah, so that work started with this notion that objects can embody experiences, and in turn, through human interaction, we can embody potentially external objects such as a used bar of soap. That is to regard them as actually part of our bodies. So by reconnecting this material to the body as jewelry, my hope is that I can invoke this sensual experience that connects viewers and wearers alike to their collective experiences. Of course, there's an ephemeral element to that work. Materially speaking, I really like that push and pull that's created when an object or a material that's thought of as permanent and unwavering can be appreciated as something much more fragile and momentary. So I always talk about, in regards to my soap work, there's a quote by Cornelia Parker.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know if you're familiar with Cornelia. I hope so.
Yeah, she was the lady who blew up the shed, wasn't she?
Yes, that's one of her
Yeah.
work.
Yeah.
So talks about sculpture as always, and direct quote, was always about making these permanent, solid things. For a long time, my work has been about trying to erode monuments, to wear them away and to digest them, and then create a moment, a fleeting thing. So nothing was solid, nothing was fixed, everything had a potential to change. So it was the opposite of the monument, it was the moment. So in a lot of regards, I feel like the ephemeral nature of my soap work speaks a similar language, but with respect to conventional notions of jewelry and what it represents. I consider these objects metaphors for the body. They are impermanent, fleeting, and they essentially embody the essence of the human experience. And they're going to change over time through inherent vice, much like ourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So there's that.
they're
There's
just
that.
beautiful. I love the fact that it's a piece of soap that's on this sort of precious the silver and the just like this. It's a bar of soap. They're so beautiful. Really lovely. Because
Yes.
I looked on your Instagram and I saw the bobby pin one with looks like a amber that's also soap.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, that was just a quick material study, just thinking about jewelry and these kind of jewelry tangentially related objects and kind of seeing that bar of soap as a jewel or like a piece of amber. And in that regard, in that context, what it would have encapsulated during our contemporary times, you know, instead of a mosquito millions of years ago.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so along with the soap piece, another piece that you're with us. Tell us about that bit. That
Well,
one.
yeah, the other piece is vastly different, and I'm still trying to find ways to connect it to my really. I'm just kind of going with it right now and not
Yeah.
worrying about that, knowing that there's something inside me that's driving me and propelling me toward this exploration. So that piece is called Non-Noble. It's part of a new body of work. I'm still, like I said, still developing, but it's continuing my research of fusing traditional craft practices with experimental processes and materials. That one's a contemporary alternative take on the traditional technique known as marriage of metal.
Okay.
Where different metals are usually fused together, say like silver, copper, brass, gold, things like that. They're fused together, non-ferrous metals with solder. And so they make this kind of like puzzle piecing effect. And you can make designs. But the three materials used in this work, mild steel, sterling silver, and titanium, are traditionally not fused together because of their corrosive properties and because just you can't fuse them together with solder. You know, titanium's not going to solder together. You have to either weld that. So I'm utilizing welding, mini welding, as a non-traditional approach to marriage of metal. And there's also an issue of instability that's being created because excluding noble metals such as gold, there's an inherently unstable kind of condition to materials, the metals, and they're continually in a state of flux. So whenever there are dissimilar metals in contact with one another, it drives the process of corrosion. So I don't know what's really going to happen, if that's going to corrode over time, but
That's exciting. What might happen to it? How it might turn up.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm more interested in kind of creating my own microscopic or magnified views of crystalline structures in my own kind of invented alloys of metal, essentially, is what I'm doing with this.
Yeah. Oh, they're beautiful. Both pieces are really. So, yeah. Thank you. So have you always made jewelry? Is it something you've been doing for a long time, or did you do something before?
I got into jewelry in my undergrad studies at Indiana University of Pennsylvania. I just kind of fell into it. I played I played in a band for quite some time, for like 6 years. And whenever we dismantled, I always told myself I would go back to school because I had done 1 year out of high school, of college. So I continued to go back, and I was continuing to go back for studio art in general. And I had to take multiple studio classes, and there were only like I had to pick two or one out of three. One was sculpture, one was fibers, and one was metals. I didn't like what I was seeing coming out of the sculpture area. It was all haphazardly put together work. It just didn't appeal to me.
Yeah.
I wasn't interested in fibers, so I was like, I'll try metals, I guess. I had never had any interest.
Go on, if I have to, I'll do metals.
Yeah, but as soon as I took that class, I just had an affinity for the materials and the processes. And then when I soldered for the first time, it was like magic, and I was hooked.
Yeah, it's like,
what's that?
So like magic, because I was a painter originally. I come quite late into jewelry making, and soldering is just, it is total magic, and it's evil as well. One day it'll work, and then the next day you can spend all day. It doesn't work. It does with me anyway. But that's
how I explain it to my students.
Yeah.
Talk about the capillary effect of the solder going in between the metal, and it just joins them. I don't know how. I'm not a metallurgist. I just consider it magic. And then they're like, ooh. Yeah. So, but I wasn't always into jewelry. I was in my undergrad studies, I was more interested in vessels and traditional kind of forms like that for the table. But whenever I was in my graduate studies studying with Tom Muir, he tried to tell me to try to make some work a lot quicker and make a lot quicker decisions. So I just tried to start making jewelry because I could make pieces a lot quicker and get a lot more ideas out quicker than like making a large vessel or something like that. That's when I started really exploring materiality and the possibilities for materials to be like embedded with meaning and to really communicate all kinds of ideas. Yeah. And then I never went back.
Yeah. Excellent. That's a good thing.
Yeah.
So it's a very sort of, because I'm new to the jewelry way, I've only been sort of within it for about 4 years or so. It seems a really real join between jewelry and fine art in a way. The ideas that lots of our artists are coming up with, like you and your concepts and your ideas, it's really sort of making these jewelry artworks as opposed to sort of traditional things.
Yeah, jewelry is contemporary jewelry is a very kind of confusing thing to a lot of people. A lot of people think it doesn't quite fit into the fine art world, or it doesn't quite fit into design. But I think it's in this really beautiful place to where it can just kind of like traverse through all of these fields seamlessly. So
yeah, and the craft field as well, because there's always that big thing about, is it craft or is it art? So what you're doing, you're sort of using those old sort of craft traditions and sort of hoiking them up by their ears and doing stuff.
Yeah, we don't. That's a tricky conversation. Art versus craft versus design, and the hierarchy there, and I'm just kind of not over it. I talk about that in class too, a lot with my students. These are conversations that we have all the time. I just don't like to delineate, just kind of like, I don't like to separate them. I think they all come together.
Yeah, they do for me. There's all sort of this one big thing that is making these beautiful pieces of work. Don't need this label of whether they're an art or a craft or a design or whatever.
Yeah. It's a really convoluted, complex kind of discussion to be having. I mean, on one point, jewelry functions, right? A lot of jewelry historically has functioned in a traditional sense of like holding garments together, or cufflinks or belt loops or belt buckles and things like that. So there's this functional aspect which kind of lends itself back to design, right? But then there's also this communicative aesthetic thing going on with contemporary jewelry that's much more aligned with the art world. So I think it's a beautiful mending of all of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it fits in so well with sort of our whole precious ethos, sort of saying, well, what is precious? Everything's precious, really. So
how do you define precious?
Sorry? How do I define
precious?
Oh, that's a hard one. Well, I'm forever picking stuff up and I just getting as much joy from a piece of gnarly wood or a piece of metal off a boat as I would from a diamond. And I think they've got all these stories, and they've been on these, have this history, these sort of things that everybody else is rubbish. And to me, precious, if not more precious than all these diamonds, rubies, and gold, silver, and that. Yeah, I find I don't really think gold, silver, and ruby, diamonds are precious. I don't know. I can find like a plastic action man that's washed up on a beach. Like, where's this gone? Where has he been? You know, it's precious. It's got this history and it's individuality.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
A lot of embedded in it. And yeah, I'm with you on that. I'm with you
Yeah.
on that. Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
We can't chuck you out of precious things. Great. You take those boxes. Yeah. Yeah. So are you exhibiting quite a lot at the moment? Because I've sort of popped on your Instagram sort of all over the place with your work.
Yeah, I'm not very active on Instagram. I have to. I'm actually really poor at social media,
Yeah.
but I'm exhibiting a little bit. I mean, I'm in a faculty exhibition at the university where I teach at Indiana University. I have a piece in Collectiva meeting in.
Okay.
Actually, the piece that's in there is non-noble. I sent that piece. I have a few iterations of that I'm working on and developing.
Yeah.
But the piece is there right now exhibiting. Trying to think of where else I'm doing some Adorn Access in New York City. So it's in conjunction. I think it's going to be in conjunction with New York City Jewelry Week, or maybe that's their next iteration. Anyway, that's a virtual exhibition, much like the Precious Collective.
They're actually here. I saw their little pop up in the little circles that float. So, hi, Dawn Access. We think you'll love. We love you.
Yeah.
They are really good though. They're just spot on. Such a nice organisation. Really lovely. So if you're still here, I like you.
Yeah, they've been they're very supportive of my work, so I appreciate that for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So I've been having kind of a conundrum. I haven't been able to make a lot of new work right now, what with teaching, and I'm doing this independent design consultation that's been consuming me in my free time and my creative time. I've been doing that for the past year, and I've had to sign a non-disclosure act because it's kind of hush hush stuff in the design world.
Yeah.
So I haven't been post about it. So I am working and exploring new ideas, just on a different level.
Yeah. Have you run out of soap?
I haven't. I feel like the pieces have to be really special, or at least where they come from has to be really special. Has to speak to me for me to want to elevate it and recreate the body. I've kind of put that body of work to rest.
Yeah.
And I really want to focus on this. It's just a matter of getting to the studio.
Yeah. It's so hard. Just life gets in the way. It's just so hard.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're doing quite a bit of teaching.
I am. Yeah, I'm teaching full time at Indiana University at the School of Art, Architecture, and Design. I mainly teach in the metalsmithing and jewelry design area, but I've been teaching a kind of a hybrid class this semester with one of the professors down in the core program, and that class is on function/dysfunction in art and design. So that's been really fun.
Yeah.
It's been helping bring new ideas to the forefront. Yeah, I love teaching. I love the conversations, the back and forth. It's always a two-way street where, I'm getting them, I feel like, as they're getting from me. So, is it freezing? Oh, that's okay.
It was vets ringing up a hog. Sorry.
Yeah. Oh, that's all good. Yeah, so I'm teaching. I have to go to university a few days a week to teach. My colleague's taking a sabbatical next semester, so I'll be heading the program for a semester, which will be good experience. So, yeah.
Right. Keeping you very busy.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's 10 to, and I'm going to have another conversation with somebody else. So we're going to have to, unfortunately, I could spend ages talking to you, Joshua, but we have to wrap this up, I'm afraid.
It was
So,
excellent
yeah,
talking with you.
I
Thank you
know.
so much.
Yeah. No, but have you got anything else you'd like to tell everybody before I sort of say goodbye to everybody? Anything you'd like to share?
No, no, I'm good. I'm good. Nope, I have nothing right now. No.
That's
Do you have any questions? Anything else?
you don't have to. It's absolutely fine. So brilliant. Oh, thank you so, so much for giving up your time and chatting
Yeah.
to us.
Thanks for having me. It was excellent
Yeah.
talking.
Loads of luck with everything.
Yeah, thank you. Can't wait to see the rest of the programming.
Yes. So
Okay.
show you soon. All right. Thanks, Joshua. Okay.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.